that.
I have lost my cool, unfortunately, a few times. But I don't because of my kids, and I try. But what I'll do is I'll put them in.
Javier Bardem.
I am Brad Pitt.
And we are a small portion of the cast of F1.
And we are here to read your thirst.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner just reunited in public. And fans can't stop talking about what it means. Their warm energy, the smiles, the kids all together again. It looked like a scene straight out of their happier years. But just as people started wondering if old sparks were flying, another Hollywood twist stole the spotlight. And this one came from none other than Brad Pitt. What he did next left fans stunned, confused, and begging for answers. Because while Ben and Jen were serving peaceful co-parenting goals, Brad was out here making moves that flipped the entire narrative. When Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner showed up together at Fenway Park with their kids, it didn't just feel like another family outing. It felt like a reset, a quiet statement.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner enjoy a rare public outing with their kids. The actor,
Maybe even a calculated one. This wasn't a red carpet appearance or a staged paparazzi stroll through Brentwood. This was Boston, Ben's turf. And they weren't just casually attending a baseball game. They were sitting front row, directly in the public eye, smiling, laughing, and sharing what looked like real joy together. And the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Ben has been in the headlines nonstop lately over his rumored split from Jennifer Lopez, a whirlwind marriage that has become increasingly difficult to defend. From tense public appearances to awkward viral clips, their relationship has sparked constant speculation. So when Ben Affleck popped up with his ex-wife and looked more relaxed than he has in months,
kids, and they just got the green monster hats as well, trying those out. Hats.
fans immediately started asking questions. But it wasn't just about Ben. Jennifer Garner looked equally at ease. She wasn't putting on a performance. She wasn't dodging the cameras. She was right there beside him, cheering with their kids like nothing had changed. Like this wasn't a reunion after years apart, but just another day in a connection that's never truly faded. Let's not forget, Ben and Jen's relationship has always been deeper than Hollywood headlines. Even after their divorce, they've spoken about one another with genuine respect. Jennifer once called co-parenting with Ben the most important job of her life. And Ben has gone on record praising her as a wonderful mother and a constant source of stability.
LA. The exes were spotted driving together through Brentwood after sharing breakfast, showing their strong co-parenting relationship.
But what we saw at that game didn't just scream stability. It hinted at nostalgia, familiarity, comfort. And in a world where every celebrity move is picked apart online, this one felt intentional. The truth is, when a couple with as much history as Ben and Jen shows up together, after everything they've been through and with the timing so perfectly aligned with his rumored breakup, it's hard not to see it as more than a coincidence. Are they just close co-parents? Maybe. But are they also two people who still know each other better than anyone else? Absolutely. And whether this was a one-time reunion or a subtle message to the public, one thing is certain. This moment sparked a conversation that isn't going away anytime soon.
Ben Affleck cozied up with ex-wife Jennifer Garner on Thanksgiving, amid his divorce from Jennifer Lopez, sparking buzz.
While most eyes were on Ben, the real wildcard in this reunion might have been Jennifer Garner. Because even though she spent the last several years keeping a low profile, quietly dating businessman John Miller and steering clear of the spotlight, something about her energy at Fenway felt different. This wasn't the reserved, carefully distant version of Garner we've seen in past co-parenting moments. This was a version of Jen that looked confident, at ease, and most importantly, fully engaged. She wasn't playing background support to Ben's public image. She was right there next to him, front and center, sharing inside jokes and seemingly not caring who was watching. And that's where things get interesting. See, for years, Jen's been painted as the graceful ex.
I just really enjoy my kids. I don't know. I don't know that I have some overarching philosophy. I just think there's
the steady hand behind the scenes who kept things afloat while Ben battled public demons and Hollywood scrutiny. But now, she's no longer just the former Mrs. Affleck holding things down. She's becoming a central figure again. one who's finally stepping out of the emotional sidelines and showing the world that she can choose how much of her past she brings forward. Insiders have quietly hinted that Jen has been more involved in Ben's life again lately, especially during his rumored struggles with J-Lo. According to one source close to the family, Jennifer always shows up when things get rocky for Ben. It's like she's the only person who truly knows how to stabilize him. And if you've followed their history, from interventions to rehab to co-parenting breakdowns, you'll know that sentiment tracks.
Jen Garner delivers breakfast to Ben, their co-parenting goals. Jennifer started her morning with a bagel run, delivering breakfast.
But here's what really stands out. Jennifer Garner is choosing to be seen now, not just by Ben, but by the public. And in doing so, she's flipping the narrative. No longer the forgotten ex-wife. Now the woman fans are rooting for. Again. That subtle shift from supportive co-parent to visible emotional anchor might be the biggest clue yet that this reunion isn't just about the kids. It might be about reclaiming space in a story she never really left. And the internet? They're already speculating whether this was the beginning of something more, or just Jen reminding the world that she's still very much in control of her own chapter. While Ben and Jen's reunion stole headlines, another Hollywood heavyweight quietly stirred the pot.
Brad's new era, the 61-year-old revealing he also quit smoking.
I think 30 years of smoking, I've just figured.
Brad Pitt. And what's strange is, he didn't have to say a word. Just days after the Affleck Garner moment went viral, Brad resurfaced with a subtle but powerful move, attending an exclusive industry dinner in Beverly Hills. Solo, clean cut, and grinning in front of cameras. But what really raised eyebrows? Who wasn't by his side? And what insiders started whispering behind the scenes? Rumors are now swirling that Brad, fresh off a period of media silence, is navigating a major personal pivot. His ongoing legal battles with Angelina Jolie have painted him in a complicated light, but recent reports suggest he's distancing himself, not just from the drama, but from all previous entanglements.
I like that there's no entry to this thing.
No, we
It's
get
just
right
like,
in.
just slide
Don't you
in
like
and
that?
go.
Because don't you think when you're acting, like action?
One source even noted, Brad's been quietly reassessing who he lets in. He's not chasing headlines anymore. He's letting them come to him. But there's more. The timing of Brad's soft re-entry into the Hollywood circuit is no coincidence. Public sentiment has subtly shifted in his favor over the last few months. And with the industry buzzing about Ben and Jen's co-parenting glow-up, some believe Brad may be crafting a similar narrative, reclaiming control, resetting his public image, and rewriting his next chapter on his terms. And for fans, this sudden move was interpreted as more than just a dinner appearance. It felt like a warning shot, a quiet signal that Brad Pitt is stepping back into the spotlight.
If you and I were married, I'd want to give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman?
But this time, not as the misunderstood leading man. This time as the one pulling the strings behind the curtain. Whether intentional or not, Brad's calculated silence said everything. While others were caught in messy headlines and relationship speculation, he reminded everyone how powerful a well-timed reappearance can be. Because when Brad Pitt moves without saying a word, the world still listens. At first glance, Brad Pitt's quiet re-entry into the public eye seemed casual. A solo appearance here, a paparazzi smile there. But when you look a little closer, the signs point to something much bigger. A calculated, strategic comeback. Behind the scenes, industry chatter is picking up fast.
Formula One, and Brad Pitt is actually driving. From the director of Top Gun, Maverick.
Brad isn't just attending these events. He's choosing exactly where to be seen and who to be seen with. According to sources close to his team, this isn't about publicity for a new film or promoting a project. It's about resetting the narrative and distancing himself from the wreckage of past headlines, especially those linked to his long and messy split from Angelina Jolie. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Multiple insiders say Brad is in talks for a major producing deal, one that would give him more power behind the scenes than ever before. Not just acting roles. We're talking creative control, full distribution leverage, and the ability to shape the kind of stories that align with this new, elevated version of Brad.
Does he look amazing? Absolutely. Why are people upset? Because
A version that's older, wiser, and no longer defined by tabloid drama. And let's not forget how intentional his low profile has been over the last year. No flashy dating reveals, no Instagram hints, no oversharing. Just quiet, careful steps. Curated to restore his brand without triggering backlash. While his ex Angelina has been in the press for everything from legal claims to controversial business moves, Brad's been playing the long game. And now it seems that game is entering its next phase. The key here isn't just what Brad is doing, it's when. With the public increasingly disillusioned by overexposed celebs and messy personal lives, Brad's clean-cut return offers something refreshing.
It's a movie made for decades, and for whether it was on bikes or planes, cars, boats, I didn't care. And
It's subtle, it's mature, and it's working. Because if there's one thing Brad Pitt understands better than most in Hollywood, it's timing. And this time, he's not just showing up. He's reclaiming the spotlight on his own terms. To the casual observer, Ben Affleck's recent family outing at Fenway Park looked like a wholesome co-parenting moment. But for fans who've followed his rocky journey, through addiction, divorces, and public breakdowns, this appearance hit different. Because let's be honest, Ben doesn't do public happy unless there's a purpose. And this one? Oh, it had purpose. This wasn't just about baseball. This was Ben choosing Boston, his hometown, his roots.
Affleck and Jennifer Garner co-parenting at the ballpark.
It's nice seats.
The friendly exes spotted
his narrative. After months of speculation about his strained marriage with Jennifer Lopez and endless viral clips showing him looking exhausted, closed off, or flat out checked out, showing up in public with Jennifer Garner and their kids was a clear signal. A reset, a reminder. He's still grounded, still capable of stability, still Ben. And it's no coincidence that the optics were nearly perfect. Front row seats, wide smiles, laughing kids. The press had a field day, and the public, they ate it up. Social media was flooded with comparisons between this version of Ben and the one we've seen lately with J.Lo. The shift was impossible to ignore. More importantly, the timing was strategic.
Felt family time. Ben Affleck. Spotted in LA, he spent a laid-back day with his son Samuel, who was enjoying a bike ride.
Just weeks after finalizing his divorce from Jennifer Lopez, this reunion outing had the kind of clean, nostalgic feel you can't manufacture, unless you're deliberately trying to. And in Hollywood, nothing is accidental. Not the venue, not the camera angles, not even the throwback to old-school family unity. So, was this a genuine family moment or a quiet rebranding in action? Either way, it sent a loud message. Ben Affleck may have stumbled, but he hasn't fallen off. And with Jennifer Garner by his side, not romantically but respectfully, he's reminding the world of who he used to be. And maybe, just maybe, who he's becoming again.
But I don't because of my kids, and I try. But what I will do is I'll put them inside, I'll take them in, and then come back out and give the guys a lecture-ish.
While the world was busy talking about Ben Affleck's surprise reunion with Jennifer Garner, Brad Pitt made a move so subtle yet so loaded with meaning it almost slipped under the radar. But not for long. After decades of being Hollywood's leading man, Brad seems to be rewriting his story. Not with a blockbuster comeback, but with a quiet retreat. Sources close to him say he's been intentionally distancing himself from the spotlight, turning down major projects, skipping press events, and pulling away from the typical fame machine. And instead of headlines about new films or co-stars, what we're getting are whispers of vineyard retreats in France, late-night studio sessions, and most notably, a deeper bond forming with Ines de Ramon, the jewelry executive he's been linked to for months.
Day Ramon are joined by Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid for a fun date night in the Big Apple.
To some, this seems like a natural evolution. A man in his 60s stepping away from the chaos to finally live on his own terms. But others see something different, something quieter, and possibly darker. The timing alone raised eyebrows. Just as ex-wife Angelina Jolie is once again dominating headlines, with their long, painful custody battle dragging on, Brad appears to be retreating entirely. Is it a sign of personal peace, or is it damage control? Some fans wonder if he's pulling back to avoid more media landmines, especially as Jolie's side continues to paint a complicated picture behind the scenes. Then there's the art. His increasing obsession with sculpture and design.
Into the art world didn't just happen overnight. Not only has he reportedly created some of his own art sculptures, but some of them—
Friends say he spends hours in his studio, completely unreachable. It's the kind of creative isolation that sounds romantic, but others interpret it as a man coping with something he doesn't want to face in public. Online, fan reactions have been polarizing. One side sees Brad's disappearance as a healthy detox from a toxic industry that never let him heal. Others worry that this new version of Brad, quiet, withdrawn, insulated, might be a sign he's slowly unraveling, just out of the public eye. And as for Ines, fans aren't sold yet. Some believe she's a stabilizing force, encouraging Brad to embrace a slower pace. But others aren't convinced this is anything more than another fleeting romance Brad's using to escape.
To be married to Paul Wesley. He is the Vampire Diaries actor. They were married from 2019 to 2022. Their divorce—
Not grow. What's truly unsettling is that this new chapter in Brad's life feels eerily familiar to those who followed him for years. A pattern of reinvention, of retreat after turbulence, of trading chaos for quiet. Until the next storm brews. He's done it before, after divorces, after scandals, after personal revelations. And every time it starts with a disappearance. So the question becomes, is Brad Pitt finally choosing peace? Or is this the calm before another very public storm? Either way, the silence is louder than ever. And fans are watching. Not for a performance, but for the truth hidden in what Brad isn't saying.
Brad up top!
Solo Brad? When Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner were spotted laughing, chatting, and looking eerily in sync at that Red Sox game, something shifted. Yes, they've long been praised for their strong co-parenting bond. But this wasn't just quiet cooperation for the kids. This was chemistry, familiarity, and to some, maybe a spark. Now let's be clear. Neither Ben nor Jen has made any public suggestion of reconciliation. But that hasn't stopped the speculation from exploding across social media. Comment sections filled with fans begging for a Bennifer 1.0 comeback. Threads debating whether Jen has always been the one. And even comparisons to how different Ben looked, relaxed, light, even happy.
Chatting casually while enjoying the game. Fans flooded the comments with mixed reactions, some hoping for a reconciliation.
Next to Garner versus the more tense, exhausted moments often caught with Jennifer Lopez. And therein lies the emotional core. This wasn't just a Red Sox outing. This was a contrast. A real-time split screen of Ben Affleck's two very different worlds. Observers were quick to note the symbolism. Back in his hometown, watching his favorite team win, surrounded by family, seated beside a woman who's been through every storm with him, and still chooses peace. Jen wasn't dressed up. She wasn't performing. She was just there, present, grounded. And maybe that's what fans are craving from Ben, too. The whispers got louder when Garner posted a subtle Father's Day tribute just weeks before. No big caption, just an old photo of Ben holding one of their kids as a baby.
Yesterday, and I guess they were spotted in Ben's car hugging and giggling and laughing. And I've gotta say, it's absolutely adorable.
And yet, it spoke volumes. That one image reignited theories that the door between them was never fully closed. Still, we have to ask, is this just a comfortable friendship being romanticized by the public? Or is something real bubbling beneath the surface? Because let's not forget, Jen has been quietly dating businessman John Miller for years now, and Ben is freshly out of a highly scrutinized marriage with J.Lo. The odds of a fairy tale reunion may be slim, but stranger things have happened in Hollywood. At the very least, their public presence together is sending some kind of message, whether intentional or not. Maybe it's about maturity. Maybe it's about healing. Or maybe, just maybe,
with rumors swirling and affection seen at past events, is there still hope for these two? What's your take on Ben and Jen?
It's a reminder that not every love story ends in bitterness, and that some endings are really just long, winding pauses. Just as the world was watching Ben and Jen's reunion unfold in soft-focused nostalgia, Brad Pitt, Hollywood's eternal wildcard, was quietly stirring up headlines of his own, and not in the way fans expected. Fresh off a relatively low-key stretch following his high-profile split from Angelina Jolie, Brad is making moves again. And no, we're not just talking about a new role or red carpet appearance. This time, it's about a personal pivot that's got everyone buzzing. Insiders say Brad has been spotted spending more time in LA, not for work, but for family.
Quest to, what do I do with this? What, how can I write this and make sure it doesn't happen again?
More specifically, an apparent softening of the long, rigid wall between him and some of his older kids. While no formal statements have been made, sources claim there's been quiet progress behind the scenes. Conversations, visits, healing attempts. It's far from a full reconciliation, but even the smallest shift is being viewed as a major development given the tension that's lingered for years. But just as fans were warming to this quieter, more reflective Brad, another twist emerged, and it wasn't subtle. Photos surfaced of him at a private event with a new face by his side. Not a starlet, not a model, but a screenwriter. Acclaimed, under the radar, and, by Hollywood standards, refreshingly normal.
They have allegedly already hooked up while working on the movie F1 together. And Brad Pitt has allegedly figured out that Ines de Ramon.
Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Brad's not chasing the spotlight anymore. He's choosing depth, simplicity, maybe even authenticity. The internet, of course, ran wild. Is this Brad's way of rebranding post-Angie? Is he finally seeking peace over PR? Or could it be a new era entirely? Fans couldn't help but draw comparisons between Brad's latest low-key choice and Ben Affleck's renewed closeness with Jennifer Garner. Two men once entangled in some of Hollywood's messiest love stories, now turning back towards stability, family, and familiarity. Could this be a pattern? Whether intentional or coincidental, Brad Pitt's latest moves are quietly speaking volumes.
Oh, the speed becomes relative. It's more like trusting the brakes.
Trusting what was that?
The brakes.
And for longtime followers of his journey, from heartthrob to heartbreak
Trying to get a racing movie made for decades.
It's starting to feel like the plot is shifting again. Because in a town that thrives on spectacle, it's often the quietest choices that cause the loudest stir. From Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's heartfelt family reunion to Brad Pitt's unexpected pivot that no one saw coming, it's clear Hollywood's former leading men are rewriting their stories in very different ways. Ben and Jen showed the world what real co-parenting grace looks like, sharing smiles in front of flashing cameras while keeping their focus squarely on their kids. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt's quieter, more mysterious moves suggest a man looking inward.
That I have a really good co-parent and partner in Jennifer Garner, who's wonderful and great, and we work together.
Stepping away from the chaos and towards something or someone different. Both stories stirred nostalgia. Both sparked headlines. But more than anything, they revealed just how unpredictable these stars still are, even after decades in the spotlight. So what do you think? Is Brad headed for a full reinvention? Could Ben and Jen's closeness signal something more than co-parenting peace? Or are we just seeing the calm before the next storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for the next twist, and don't blink. Because in Hollywood, the next shock is always one headline away.